Look, Ax, we're different, right? We didn't inherit our money. We earned it calm, early, often, and very publicly.
Let's talk about business and finance lessons from the 4th episode of Billion Season 2, based on my work experience at Goldman Sachs in New York City, and based on my work experience at the top hedge funds in the world. Now, please like, comment, and subscribe, and stick around, because at the end of this video, I'm going to grade the episode for Wall Street realism with a buy, hold, or sell rating. 3 topics from this episode that we will discuss are: number 1, Mark Cuban's advice to Bobby, and 10 incredible pieces of advice from Mark Cuban that we can all immediately apply to our lives to be way more successful in business and with all aspects of our careers. Now, in topic 2, we will discuss Axelrod giving away billions of dollars for the wrong reasons, and we will discuss the largest donations ever from top investors.
You know, that's the kind of giving I can get behind. I mean, this is how all charity should work.
You mean benefiting you more than anybody else?
And lastly, in topic 3, we'll discuss how the ultra-rich get richer by paying less in taxes, and ways that we can legally pay less in taxes as well.
I find out he has a pile of money offshore. Legal tax avoidance.
Topic 1, Mark Cuban's advice to Bobby. Axe is trying to buy an NFL team, but he's having problems doing it, just given his terrible reputation.
If you really want this team, you got to ask yourself, how are you going to change hearts and minds today?
Now, perception becomes reality, and billionaires have learned the hard way that you can't just speak your mind, or the SEC can come after you, which is happening with Bobby, as it happened with Elon Musk as well. And Bobby plans on changing public perception of his tarnished brand so he can buy an NFL team by giving money away, which we will talk about in topic 2. But let's first talk about 10 incredible pieces of advice from Mark Cuban. Now, why is Mark Cuban so successful? And what can we learn from him? 10 things. Number 1, Mark said, you only have to be right in business one time. And this is so true. And this means that we have to be comfortable with failing over and over again. And as Michael Jordan once said, I failed over and over again in my life, and that's why I succeed. And Michael Jordan actually missed 9,000 shots in his career, and he's the best player ever, way better than LeBron James. Also, these people have failed dozens of times before they succeeded, and their secret is they don't care what other people think of them. And we have to be the same way. And the authors here were turned down dozens of times before a publisher decided to publish their books. And you won't reach your full potential in life without embracing failure as a stepping stone to greatness. And even Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper as he was told that he lacked imagination. Now, when my 3 sons started trying to walk, they fell down like 100 times each. And I didn't tell them, you know, this whole walking thing, maybe it isn't for you. And since birth, I gave these kids 2 sentences, and they have to quickly complete them. They always do. Number 1, you never give up. And number 2 is you always finish what you start. Lastly, Colonel Sanders was rejected literally 1,009 times until he was finally able to sell his dope chicken products. Also, he was 62 when he started his company, so age means nothing. Mark Cuban tip number 2. He once said, find something you love to do. If you don't make money at it, at least you'll love going to work. And I really believe that if you want to be successful, you got to think with your heart first. And as Confucius once said, find occupation you love and you'll never work a day in your life. So true. Mark Cuban tip number 3. He once said, make your product easier to buy than your competition, or you will find your customers buying from them and not you. And this means offer a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee, free trials, etc. Mark Cuban tip number 4. He said, if you're looking where everybody else is looking, you're looking in the wrong spot. And what he means by this is we really need to be a contrarian to make money. And if we buy the same stock that everybody loves, then there aren't many other investors out there to buy the stock to push it higher. And as a proud Canadian, this is going to be the most Canadian vlog ever. Wayne Gretzky once said that he was humbly successful, not because he skates where the puck is, but rather because he skates where the puck is going to be. And so we need to buy stocks that people are going to buy. So think long-term whenever you invest, please. All right, Mark Cuban, tip number 5. He said, don't start a company unless it's an obsession and something you love. And if you have an exit strategy, it's not an obsession. And so you need to think like Steve Jobs does and make a dent in the universe with your vision. And so we need to set our goals much, much higher. Mark Cuban, tip number 6. He said, always wake up with a smile, knowing that today you're going to have fun accomplishing what others are afraid to do. And the way that humbly gets me into a peak mental state every day is the second I get up, before I go to bed, I practice gratitude by thanking God for these 10 things. Andrew, Matthew, Dylan, my wife, my mom, my dad, my brother, my sisters, Katie, Elizabeth, and you, my students. And so we need to run to our fears in life and really condition ourselves into believing that we love our fears, like public speaking, accounting, networking, etc. It's kind of like the Rodin sculpture. I think, therefore I am. Condition yourself that way, please. Mark Cuban, tip number 7. He said, you've got to work like someone is trying to steal your business. So we need to use game theory like Taylor and Axe do. And we need to think like 3 moves ahead of the competition. And as former CEO of Intel, Andy Grove once said, only the paranoid survive in business. Mark Cuban, tip number 8. He said, if you can sell, then you'll never be unemployed. And the most important skill set that all successful founders and CEO have is they can sell. And you can learn this stuff too. And for my best tips on how to sell, please see my Billion Season 1 Episode 12 video, and the video link is in the description. Mark Cuban, tip number 9 of 10. He said, every no gets me closer to a yes. So when you're selling, no means not yet. And until you've heard no, all you heard was not no. Mark Cuban, tip number 10. Is he once said, ideas are commodities, but execution is not. And this means when you and I come up with a great side hustle or a new business opportunity, we have to write a thorough business plan first, because failing to plan is planning to fail. And let me humbly help you with your business plan. See the description of this video and set up a call with me. Topic 2 of 3. Let's chat about the top donations in history by investors. But first, Bobby meets with a billionaire who is maybe similar to Bill Gates. And he discusses giving away billions of dollars in order to improve Bobby's unethical reputation so that Bobby can buy an NFL team.
So we're finally going to have to talk.
Well, you've been reaching out to me for 5 years.
This isn't how I like to do it.
You prefer the house?
It's more intimate.
For a seduction?
So Bobby is even unethical when it comes to giving money away, because what he did right here was he set the meeting up in a location where photographers would take pictures and document the meeting in a newspaper. And when the guy that Bobby met with found out about this, what Bobby did, it really backfired as this happens.
I do not appreciate being used. The NFL is turning you down. I asked for the favor of telling you myself.
So Bobby then blames Chuck, and the legal drama continues.
You cost me a professional football team. A wise man always listens to his lawyer.
I keep my own counsel. Let's keep going.
Not accurate. There is no way that Axe would go after the government like this, especially because in finance, when it comes to the SEC or the district attorney, in the mind of the public, you're guilty until proven innocent. And Cuban actually said it best right here.
You need to make it clear to them that you're hanging up the gloves and moving on to a new phase. You know what else you need to do? You need to stop with the U.S. attorney.
I'm not gonna do that.
Come on, X.
Let's talk about top donors in the finance industry. So far, Warren Buffett has given away more than $40 billion through the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to fight poverty and for healthcare initiatives. He pledged to eventually give 99% of his net worth to charity. And we're going to come back to Buffett in topic 3 when we discuss how we can legally pay less in taxes. Now, for many years, before Buffett announced his donation to the Gates Foundation, people were critical of Buffett for not giving away more. And Buffett argued that it makes sense to give a larger amount away later in life, as it could have more of an impact. And I humbly disagree. As much as I love Mr. Buffett, I think giving it away during your entire lifetime sets a better example. And it's not just about money, but it's about your time as well. And this is a great segue to discuss Henry Kravis, who basically invented the private equity and leveraged buyout industry in the 1980s. Now, Henry Kravis went to the same business school as I did at Columbia, and apparently he was a straight C student. And when he came to guest lecture when I was there, I sat front row center as I couldn't wait to hear about his private equity tips. But to my surprise, for the 90-minute lecture, he talked entirely about the importance of also giving away your time and not just money. Time. Because we need to mentor others, because when one teaches, two learn. And our time can be more valuable than our money, which is why I love teachers. Next up, we have Jim Simonds from AI hedge fund Renaissance Technologies, who's given away about $3 billion so far to education purposes. I love that. And Malala once said, with guns you can kill terrorists, but with education you can kill terrorism. And Jim Simonds is a mathematician, and he left the NSA in the early 1980s to start Renaissance, which has an average annual gross return of 60% on average since the late 1980s. Unbelievable. Now, next up, we've got George Soros, who made his fortune as a macro hedge fund investor. So he made $1 billion in one day by forcing the Bank of England to float the pound. He also made $1 billion in a short amount of time by forcing Thailand to change the Thai baht from a fixed exchange rate to a variable one. And for more details on how he did this and how Soros made $1 billion in one day, shorting the pound, please see this video of mine, and the link is in the description of this video. Now, Soros has given away close to $20 billion so far in promoting democracy, voters' rights, and other causes as well. Next up, we have Michael Bloomberg, who was actually fired by Merrill Lynch, and he certainly got his revenge by starting financial services empire Bloomberg, which is featured in the background in many scenes in Billions. And Bloomberg has given away over $10 billion so far to causes that include climate change, gun control, and public health. And lastly, we have Julian Robertson, who basically invented the hedge fund industry with his Tiger hedge fund in the 1980s. And many top hedge funds today exist because of Tiger, and these are called Tiger Cubs, per these examples here. And Robertson, God bless him, he passed away, but he's given away a material portion of his net worth to environmental, education, and medical causes. Topic 3 of 3 is how the ultra-rich get richer by paying less in taxes and ways that we can pay legally less in taxes as well.
I find out he has a pile of money offshore. Legal tax avoidance.
So the 400 richest families in America pay just 20% in taxes per year, which doesn't seem fair. But in order to pay taxes, there has to be a taxable event, like selling shares in your company. In fact, in 2007, Jeff Bezos not only did not pay taxes at all, but he actually got back $4,000 per child in a tax refund, meaning $16,000 for his 4 kids. And Warren Buffett has publicly disclosed that he pays much less in taxes on a percent of income basis, than his assistant does. And separately, according to ProPublica, between 2014 and 2018, Buffett's true tax rate was just 0.1%. And between 2010 and 2018, the Forbes 400, meaning the 400 richest people in the world, only paid 8.2% in taxes. In fact, every year, the top 1% in the United States use tax loopholes to save between $160 billion and $200 billion. And wealthy real estate tycoons save a fortune in taxes annually, given the fact that they can use depreciation to their benefit. And wealthy people also relocate to states like Florida, Nevada, or Texas, and away from the left coast, the west. I love living in California, but the taxes are cray here. Even Jake Paul moved to Puerto Rico to avoid paying massive US taxes. And the best way for you and I to save on taxes is to start a company. So when you start a company, Everything that you buy for your company, you can write off. Like your company pays for this instead of you do. Obviously, you have to be profitable in order to deduct that. And please make sure to have an accountant file your business and your personal taxes for you. And what I do is this. I have 2 credit cards, okay? And if I'm sure that I can write something off, then I pay for it using my business credit card. If I'm not sure, or if it's a personal charge, then I use my personal credit card. Then my accountant can look through all my statements to make sure that I'm compliant when filing taxes. It's important to use an accountant. Please do so. Even if you don't have your own business, please hire an accountant to do your taxes because the tax code changes all the time, which is why the accounting profession exists. And doing your own taxes is like doing surgery on yourself. And each new government administration, be it local or federal, has different tax laws. And it's so hard for us to keep up to date with tax changes. And please don't rely on software to file your taxes. And ultra wealthy people, what they do is they pay about $1,000 or more per hour for tax lawyers to move their money around, meaning into offshore tax havens, in some cases, in order to minimize their tax burden. And this is one reason why hedge funds like Axe Capital are set up as what's called a master feeder structure, meaning they have an onshore vehicle and an offshore vehicle, which feed into the management company, which is Axe Capital. Quick side note. Do you ever see people driving around in massive cars that look like this that are very expensive? Well, in some states, you get a massive tax write-off if you drive a heavy car. It's cray-cray, I know, but let your accountant find the write-offs for you. Now, if you can, please, make sure that every paycheck you have, that money is taken out of your paycheck and put into your retirement savings account, like a 401k in the United States, because that money can grow tax-free. In fact, if all you did was you put your annual 401k amount of about 23 grand into the S&P 500, then in 20 years, you would likely have over $1 million. And if your spouse did it, then in 20 years, you'd have $2 million together. And it gets better if you're over 50 years old like me, because you can contribute an additional $7,500 per year into your 401k. Now, of course, you have to pay taxes on that later in life when you take the money out of your 401k. But what you can also do, and please talk to your accountant first about this, what you can also do is you can set up what's called a Roth IRA, which is similar to a 401k, except you pay taxes before you put the money in. Then it grows tax-free, and you don't ever pay taxes again when you take it out of your Roth IRA. And for those under 50 years old, you can put $7,000 per year in your Roth IRA. And for those of you above 50 years old like me, you can put in $8,000 per year. Now, Peter Thiel, who was the co-founder of PayPal and the first notable investor in Facebook, he's a great venture capitalist too. What he did was he put $6,000 into his Roth IRA many years ago for his private investments. And he paid taxes first. And that amount is now worth between $5 and $10 billion. And he can take that money out without paying taxes. Again, please talk to an accountant first before putting money into any retirement accounts. And if you have children, you can save a certain amount each year in a 529 plan in the United States, which is kind of like a 401k. And your kids can use the money tax-free when they take it out to pay for university. Now, if your kids take it out to one day pay for a house, then they're going to pay taxes on that, kind of like with a 401k. But by far, the best investment you can ever make is buying a house. I told you this is the most Canadian vlog ever. It's not house, Americans, it's house. The best investment you can make is buying a house or an apartment, because renting is a brutal waste of money. But it took me until my 30s until I could afford a house. Buy one as soon as you can. And here in the United States, you get the benefit of writing off the interest on your mortgage. And because of this, so many Americans think it is actually fiscally irresponsible to completely pay off your mortgage. Now, for more finance and accounting and business tips, please check out my courses at this link right here. Let's talk about grading of this episode for Wall Street Realism with a buy, hold, or sell rating. As always, the writing was superb, and bringing in Mark Cuban was awesome. It was brilliant, because he did take on the SEC years ago. However, Hedge fund billionaires, more often than not, maintain a very low profile, especially when it comes to picking fights with government officials. So Axe going after District Attorney Chuck Rhodes for making it hard for him to buy an NFL team is highly unlikely. Now, most of the time, Wall Street icons don't want the headache of a lawsuit overhang, and they look to quickly settle. Now, the episode did a superb job of showing the publicity that hedge funds like when it comes to donations, as is evident with the Robinhood Foundation, which always gets a lot of press. And I do believe that hedge funds that donate to the Robinhood Foundation have noble intentions. Now, I'm going to give this episode a hold rating. And please like, subscribe, and comment. And I'm going to see you soon for our next reaction video when we react to Season 2, Episode 5. I'm also working very hard on a reaction video of The Big Short, which is kind of like a sequel to Michael Lewis's masterpiece called Liar's Poker, which we spoke about in my review video of Season 2, Episode 3. Thank you.